Welcome back to DaveStation. We're going to talk about our top 3 Formula 1 racing games. And I say we and our because I'm joined by the CEO of Chorizo Machine Enterprises. Mike is back with me. Formula 1 racing games, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, Dave and I have always been passionate about F1 games. I know you've fallen off of F1, the sport in general, mate, a little, but you still watch it. I mean, Dave knows his F1, guys. I used to watch F1 in the 90s, fell off a bit, but I'm back into it now, even though it is a bit predictable with Verstappen winning everything. So we thought, okay, F1 theme, top 3 games for DaveStation, top 3 F1 games, I should say. Who's starting, mate? Who's starting number 3?
I think you should, as the guest of DaveStation. I think it's over to you.
Okay, so drum roll. In at number 3. So we're going to do this reverse, guys. So obviously 3 is my third best, and 1 will be the best F1 game of all time. In at number 3, Dave, this is going to surprise you. You're not going to expect this.
Okay.
You're going to be like, really? And it is.
Go on then.
It is F1 2021.
Oh, okay. That's a recent one.
It is. So this appeared on Game Pass a while back now, and Dave and I both were like, let's do some co-op career on that. We never got to it in the end because we downloaded it, played some single player. We thought there was a lot of understeer in it. Car is a bit slidey on that game, which is true, it is. But the more and more I've played it, for me, it's not perfect, it's far from it, but it is the F1 game with the best AI, bar none. The AI on it is really intelligent, and I love just little things like they get out of your way in qualifying if you're going quicker or in practice. You see loads of cool stuff happening in races, like safety cars and that kind of thing, a bit more frequently, like in real life.
Yeah.
It's just a really good game. It's like F1 2020 in a way, but it doesn't handle as well as F1 2020. My thing about it is the cars, man. If you touch the curbs in F1 2021, your car slides.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my number
Absolutely.
3, mate. What did you think of it before we move on to your number 3? Because you played a little bit, didn't you?
Yeah, F1 2021, you described it pretty well with the understeer. That was something I could not get over, but then when it comes to races, and you've always known this about me, I don't like understeering cars. I like positive feeling cars.
Sure.
And I can deal with cars that have a bit of oversteer or the rear being a bit lively, but I can't deal with cars that won't turn into corners.
Yeah, that's fair. I can imagine, because I'm a controller player, guys. I've got to make that clear. Dave will use the wheel from time to time.
Yeah.
I'm strictly controller. I haven't got a wheel. I could imagine or predict that F1 2021 is going to be a hard ask playing that game with the wheel, with the understeer.
Yeah.
But with a controller,
Absolutely.
It's all right. You kind of just adjust and adapt and get used to it. But it's number 3. I've played loads of the driver career in it again because the AI and the off-the-track stuff that goes on, the interviews, the drivers moving teams. It's very realistic. You'll see Verstappen winning races and Bottas maybe runner-up or Hamilton runner-up. You don't get bizarre finishes, and it's consistent like that. And I just think it was the last game Codemasters did that was really, really good. Loads of people disagree. And I will have an honourable mention, mate. We're allowed an honourable mention at the end of this video, I reckon. That's only fair. So we'll do all 3 and maybe an honourable, can't get my words out, mention if we can think of one. But anyway, Dave, what's your third best F1 game of all time?
And I don't think that you or many others will particularly guess this one or will think about this one. So, my third best Formula 1 racing game of all time is the last one that Sony did, or that Sony had the license for, on the Sony PlayStation 3. It's Formula 1 Championship Edition.
Oh.
The reason for that is this game, I can remember on the build-up to the PS3 launch, seeing video footage of this and being like, wow, this just looks absolutely incredible. Graphically, it totally blew my mind. I enjoy the handle of the cars. I think the handle of the cars is one of the strong points. You can have a really, really good race. Yes, the AI is a bit stupid at times, and yes, it can behave like you're not there, but it can also create some jeopardy that you just don't see in Formula 1 racing games these days. To me, they feel a bit too straight and a bit too sterile.
Yeah.
I really, really enjoyed Formula 1 Championship Edition, and just really, really enjoyed how it felt to play, you know, how it was on the track. The car felt like it had grip. You felt like you were connected. The one negative alongside the AI that I would say, though, you mentioned about curbs in F1 2021. The curbs on F1 Championship Edition should be avoided at all costs because you will spin out a hell of a lot. But I loved it. And perhaps as well, Mike, it's the time. I loved the cars from 2006. I think they looked absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
And we still had some great drivers in the sport who unfortunately are not in the sport anymore.
Yeah, it was a good time. I don't think I've played that F1 game. We'll need to do it for old school.
We definitely will. You'll see exactly what it's like when we get the setup all sorted this side with the capturing and everything. I'll play it. We'll do an old school on it.
Definitely. That's awesome, man. It's a good choice, number 3. So, is it me again?
It's you for number 2.
So number 2 is going to be on a lot of people's lists, I think. And it's not going to surprise Dave, this one. And it is F1 97. Big shout out to Dave, who is on the phone line with me right now, guys. You've already heard him. For capturing this footage for me. I was busy. I was like, Dave, can you capture some footage for F1 97? So this is Dave's footage here. Dave is playing. I mean, we've talked about this game on this channel so many times. It's the memories for me with this. It just reminds me of the PS1 release or around that time. And not just that, the gameplay, Murray Walker's commentary. It's just a gem of not just an F1 game, of just a video game. It stands on its own as a video game. It's a really good PlayStation video game.
Absolutely, it really is. So, is it over to me for number 2 now?
I think so. Yes, let's do it.
Now, I know what's going to happen, Mike. I can already see the comments. I can already see everybody's thoughts because I'm that good. Number 2, people are going to think it's rigged. It is Formula 1 Championship Edition, aka, for us in Europe, Formula 1 97 on the Sony PlayStation. For all the reasons that Mike said, the PlayStation, I loved the game. It was accessible. It was fun. Do you know, Mike, last night, at the time of recording this video, I actually did a 20-lap race at Melbourne on F1 97, and I had a whale of a time. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's just such a great game for the 97 season, a big improvement on the first Formula 1 game. I like everything about it. If I was to pick a negative, again, it would be the AI, because the AI tends to stick to its line, and you can have some hilarious crashes at times because of that. But my goodness me, what a Formula 1 game that was. I can still play it to this day, which I think is a good barometer of how good I think that game is.
Spot on. I was gonna say the same thing. I could play it now and just have tons of fun. You are right, the AI does get funky on it. I'll say something to stick up for developers here in general, and I don't usually do that on this channel, but getting the AI spot on in an F1 game must be a headache. It really must.
Absolutely, because you've got to think of all the different parameters of the cars, you've got to think about the different drivers and driver traits. And I can imagine it's an absolute nightmare. Plus, especially with modern day F1 games, the cars are huge. So you've got to think about the size of the cars and the positioning of the cars. So AI, I think in general in gaming is pretty tough, but especially in races.
Yeah, I'm glad both of us have got F1 97 in our lists, because we do talk about it a lot. Needs to be on this list, needs to be on this video, guys. But that is Dave and I's number 2, F1 97, or what else was it called?
It was called F1 Championship Edition in North America.
That's right. So yeah, F1 97, as I always think of it, just incredible game, but it's not my favourite F1 game of all time. So at number 1, my top F1 game of all time, drum roll, is F1 2020.
Oh, okay, so the predecessor to 2021.
Yeah. Now, this game, I didn't really know much about it. So this game released when we were going into a pandemic, guys, I think. I think I'm right in saying that. The world was crazy, and I didn't play this game back then at all. But I remember reading on Reddit, on the F1 game subreddit, big shout out to that community, and loads of people were just like, this is in recent times, so last year, F1 2022, I've gone back to F1 2020. It's just like the best F1 race we've had in a long time. So I was like, I'm going to pick this up, because Amazon sell this game for like 12 quid brand new, so I'll risk this. I don't usually buy games on disc, guys, but I'm forced to in this occasion, because you can't buy this game digitally anymore, because EA Sports bought Codemasters after this game, and you know what EA Sports do? They take their games off the store. They force you into buying the latest one. But anyway, I played this game. and was like, the handling is a joy. The cars stick to the track like an F1 car should. It's slightly on the arcadey side, I would say, compared to F1 2021 and now F1 23. It is slightly arcadey, but that's probably what I like about it. All the cars feel different. The AI is good, not as good as F1 2021. It still looks really nice. It runs at a smooth 60 frames per second on the Series X. And that is my favourite F1 game of all time. Over to you, Dave.
And just before I choose my number one, I'm going to add a footnote to your F1 2020 because I did play that. The classic cars, that was something I really enjoyed about F1 2020.
Yeah.
Because you had some of Michael Schumacher, the legendary F1 driver, his classic cars such as the Benetton that he first won the World Championship in. And also, Mike, my all-time favourite F1 car of his was the Ferrari F2000, and the fact that those were in the game was enough for me to pick it up back then, and I did play it. So, great game. I've got to agree, it's a great game.
It's a good game. Yeah, it is a good game. I will say as well, mate, you talked about Michael Schumacher. You can actually get a Michael Schumacher edition of that game. That's probably what you would have got.
That's the version I had, yeah, absolutely. That was the one I pre-ordered back in the good old days.
Sorry, mate, what was you going to say anyway?
I was about to say, however, a bit like yourself, that's not my number one choice.
Oh.
So again, drum roll please, because my number one choice,
there we go.
There's going to be people that I think are going to nod in appreciation to this one, Mike. And you've played a game in this series' heritage, you absolutely have. It is none other than the legend that is Jeff Crammon's Grand Prix 4 on the PC. My God, if you want a good F1 game, with, at the time, amazing physics and just so much fun to be had, and especially the crashes alone, it's worth playing for crashing into other cars.
Really?
Then Jeff Crammon's Grand Prix 4 is amazing. It, quite frankly, is the best F1 game I've ever touched. Full stop. And there are still people, Mike, to this very day, the modding community, that are making mods for that game. New cars, new tracks, new season packs. You can even use some graphics software like Reshade to make the game look different. It's just that good. So much fun to play. And it's one that, again, you don't have to be a big F1 aficionado to play it, because there's plenty of assists to help you if you're not interested in playing it as a hardcore simulator.
Oh, mate, you've whet my appetite. You've sold it to me. I'm going to need to play this. I haven't played it. I need to play this game.
It's an amazing, absolutely amazing game. Now, I said the heritage. You might remember a game by a certain company called Microprose on the Commodore Amiga called Formula 1 Grand Prix.
Yes.
Yep, that was Jeff Crammond, and that was a predecessor to this game.
Yeah, I've played that.
Yep.
Okay. That's interesting.
So now you've got an idea of what it's going to be like. Imagine that, but in a higher frame rate with modern graphics, and you've basically got Grand Prix 4. It's that good. And
like you say, the modding community is still keeping up to date, or keeping that game up to date. Do they have the latest rosters, like latest drivers and stuff?
Yeah, they've actually modded in a 2023 car model and the teams and drivers and new tracks. So you could play a 2023 season if you wanted to.
That's so cool. Yeah, that is a game, maybe in its original form, to feature on old school. There's a few here that we could go back to. Definitely F1 2020 needs to go on old school. And also, a bit of a funny one that needs to go on old school, as an aside here, guys. This isn't an honourable mention, I just want to put this out there, is F1 Race Stars, or whatever it was called, the kart game.
Yes, that's right. It was Race Stars. We played it on the Xbox 360 back in the day.
We did co-op, didn't we? We took it around the track a couple of times. We weren't that keen back then. It'd be interesting to go back and have a look at that game. That is the top 3 for Dave and me. Honourable mentions. I've got one. Have you got any?
I have one as well. Should we start with yourself? What's your honourable mention?
Okay, my honourable mention is F1. So I'm a bit modern here, guys. As you can tell, Dave has played a lot more of the old games than me. I kind of joined this party a bit late on, apart from F1 97. So honourable mention to F1 23. Gameplay-wise, it is fantastic. This is like F1 2020 where the car glues to the track. It's really good fun to play, but there's a big caveat. It's full of bugs. It's an EA release. It's still full of bugs, and it's been out since, I don't know, June? We're nearly in September. They were charging 70 quid. It's already on sale now for 40 quid on PS5 and Xbox Series X. gameplay-wise, I must stress, it's so good. Dave and me actually started a co-op career, but what happened, mate? It was Yuki Tsunoda winning the races.
Yeah, we had some craziness, didn't we? And also, we encountered some of the glitches, like, for instance, the red flag glitch. Do you remember that I was winning a race, red flag, I then won the race, and it put me in third?
Yeah, ridiculous. But it's good to see that Codemasters, because they still develop the games, I think. EA just publish it, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's good to see that they're back on track, no pun intended. Yeah, F123 honourable mention, really good game. Really good game. What's yours, mate?
My honourable mention is, and it's on the Super Nintendo, so specifically the Super Nintendo version, Nigel Mansell's World Championship. The Super Nintendo version of that game is awesome. It's fun, it's fast, it's frenetic, it's colourful. It is just a fantastic arcadey Formula 1 racing game that you have to play, even if you've not got an interest in F1, because it is a lot of fun and it's on the SNES. What more can I say?
I have played that game. I actually remember the advert. Wasn't Rick Mail on the advert, TV advert?
He was, with a stick-on moustache.
That's right, yeah. Good game, good call.
Yeah.
They are the lists, guys. So let us know in the comments your top 3 F1 video games of all time. What do you think of our lists? Do you think we are barking mad? Or do you think, yeah, pretty good games? I'm glad F1 2022 is not on Dave's All My list, because that game's abysmal. Absolutely.
It is bad.
Absolutely terrible, because I downloaded that from Game Pass. I had to see what everyone was just going crazy over with that game. And when I say crazy, not in a good way. And I played a time trial for like 5-10 minutes, and I was like, oh dear, this is a bad video game. So it's good again to see F123 head in the right direction after the abysmal F122. Dave, do us an outro, because this is your thing. This is DaveStation.
Yep, so that was our top 3 Formula 1 racing games. Thanks for watching, guys. Leave your comments below. What are your favourite Formula 1 games and on what systems?